Hey guys, it's Sad, and this is part 5 of my 8-part series on the 135 card PSA Pokemon card return. That's a mouthful to say. So if you didn't see part 4, we left off with some Gem series cards, and mostly Gem I think, and a little bit of Team Rocket. So we will see where we leave off with this one. So we'll get straight into it. Looks like we got some Japanese. You can tell it's Japanese from the background. That's what the Japanese background looks like, and that's what the all the other languages look like. So, all right, let's get straight into this. The first card we have is a PSA 10. So we have a PSA 10 Japanese Rocket Sneak Attack. This is a trainer, obviously. It's one of the holo trainers. I like to keep PSA 10s, but I'll have to think about keeping this one. It looks like it's got a little mark on it right there. I was trying to wipe it off. It might be just something on the little fluff from the grader's shirt or something. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at that closer. But it got a PSA 10. You can see from the holo that there's virtually no scratches. So when you get a Japanese card graded, Japanese cards are easier to get a PSA 10 than the English WotC cards. And that is mainly because of the card stock that they use for the Japanese cards. The card stock is just better quality, and that's the main reason it's easier to get a 10 in Japanese. So yeah, if I don't sound super excited, I mean I am, don't get me wrong. It's a PSA 10, it's from 1997, so it's older than all the WotC cards, but then again, PSA 10s in Japanese, let me pull this forward a little bit. They're easier to get in Japanese. And so here we have a PSA 7 Giovanni's Nidoking. So why would this one get a 7? Let's see if we can figure this out. What does the back look like? All right, so the back has some white spots, but not enough to give it a 7. Why would it get a 7? It's got some surface scratches, you can tell, along the top. There's probably some sort of little ding on it somewhere that we probably wouldn't see right off the bat. We'd have to study it for about 5 minutes maybe to find it, and I don't think you guys would appreciate it if I looked at Nidoking for 5 minutes. So yeah, PSA 7. And here we have, oh wow, this one's a really nice one. We have a PSA 9 Japanese Rockets Moltres. So this one is, this one would be one of the harder ones to grade high. I'll compare it to the Nidoking. So look how much holo is on the Nidoking here on the left, and then look at how much holo is on the Moltres. So that's one thing you have to take into account when you're going to grade your own cards. These cards that have a lot more holo real estate here tend to be harder cards to grade. And look at this swirl. It's right behind his rear, and it's like he's farting a little bit. That's what it looks like. Anyway, so yeah, this one got PSA 9, and it's got a white spot and another white spot and another white spot there. So that would be enough to give it a 9, even if there were no scratches on the holo, which it looks like there's one right there. That's a really cool, it's kind of a funny swirl placement right there. All right, now we have a PSA 8 Sabrina's Gengar. So this one is actually, here, let me grab the English version real quick. I don't normally do this, but being a little spontaneous today. So the English Sabrina's Gengar is on the left, and the Japanese Sabrina's Gengar is on the right, obviously. So I'll start with the one on the right. The Japanese is, of course, the original one. You can tell because the date is 1999, English is 2000. The Japanese came first. So you can see in the background on the Japanese right here, there are some tombstones, but they're not on the English. Interesting, right? No tombstones. They edited that out. pretty neat. Every now and then there's a card. There's several. There's not a ton, but there are several cards that they edited from going from Japanese to English. Japanese was obviously the first round of cards that they made, and I guess they put them out, and then they noticed something's wrong after they printed them and fixed it in the English version. But yeah, very nice card. Got some white spots on the back, probably some scratches on the hollow. Few. Nothing too crazy though. That is a PSA 8. Excuse me. All right, here we have, oh wow. So this is definitely one that I'm gonna keep, is a PSA 10 Sabrina's Alakazam. It's a beautiful card, and it has lots of hollow on it too, like the real estate I was talking about earlier. So plenty of room for this to get a scratch, but it is a dark hollow, so that does help when you're, does help get a higher grade. So some people say that when it has a hollow bleed, it's harder to get a 10, but I don't know. I think that's more of just people's opinion than a fact. I mean, this one's got hollow bleed. You can see it pretty obvious all around it, all on the bottom, and it's still, you see the hollow bleed because you see the hollow bleeding through the actual surface. But yeah, it's still got a 10, obviously. This is an awesome card. So Alakazam is one of my top 5 favorite Pokemon, so I'll definitely keep him. And we have another one, another Sabrina's Alakazam, but this one got a 9. So why would this one get a 9? It's got a scratch or a piece of dust inside the case. That is lovely. So this is why, obviously, it got a 9, the white spots on the back. Looks like it's just on the top and the bottom left corner. Still PSA 9, very nice. And we have a PSA 7 holographic Brock's Ninetales. Very nice. I don't see very many scratches on it, so it must have a lot of white spots. Or maybe it's like that Nidoking. Has a few white spots. Yeah, it seems like it's... What is that? That's on the actual case. You can see it because like that, you can see it extend past the cards. It's not on the card, and it's got a pretty good size white spot right there. I would have figured that would have gotten a higher grade than that. But like I said with Nidoking, maybe there's something, we'd have to look at it very closely and not through a camera. Look at it in person very closely for like 5 minutes, and maybe then we'd see something wrong with it. But who knows? All right, so this one is a PSA 6 holographic Erica's Venusaur. So this looks like about half and half hollow and not hollow, but it's got that light color hollow, the white, so that would make it harder to grade. And it's got a really cool swirl placement too. But you can see it's got its fair share of scratches on it. And it looks like maybe even a fingerprint or something right there. It's kind of, wouldn't help its case, but it's got lots of white spots. So I remember this one was actually one from my personal collection that I had debated sending off because Japanese cards for the longest time were not worth near as much as what their English counterparts were worth. And I don't know if y'all, I'm sure y'all have noticed, but with the way the market was, the market flew up, and I said, well, shoot, I'll get it graded. So I did. Because yeah, PSA 6s, even anything graded really is worth a whole lot more than it was a year or two ago. So here we have a PSA 9 holographic Mr. Mime from the Jungle set. It's got a lovely print line, you can see, and a few scratches. But it's funny, they give that a PSA 9. See if there are some white spots. But they gave Nidoking and Ninetales a 7 for the same amount of scratches. This one's got quite a few scratches. Interesting. lots of Japanese cards. All right, so we have a PSA 9 Electrode holographic from Jungle Sets. This one's got a nice swirl right there too. Looks like he's kind of looking at it. Got a few scratches. Not too many. And not too many white spots, except a nice good one there on the bottom right. And a little bit up here, I thought, or maybe, yeah, see right there, barely. Next, we have a PSA 8 holographic Clefable. This is a Japanese Clefable, and he's got a swirl, so it seems like every single card has a swirl, which is pretty cool. Some people, I say swirl, but some people don't care about swirls. Some people, they love buying cards with swirls, so you know, in my overall opinion, I would say that it's good to have a swirl because some people value that when they're looking for a card. There's a smudge on the case. PSA tends to do a good job sending out their cards, you know, flawless without smudges. That one looks like it'd be able to be cleaned off, but white spot. I don't talk too much about centering because centering doesn't factor in too much unless it's a 9. If you're on the border looking between a 9 and a 10. Otherwise, if you have a PSA 7 or 8, the centering is not gonna really matter that much because it would have to be so far off center for it to change a 7 to a 6. So about 99.9% of the time, it's not really a factor into the grade unless it's a 9 or a 10 candidate. All right, so here we have a Miracle Energy. This is from the Neo Destiny set. It is English. Looks like probably the rest of these are English. All right, let me fix my stack here. I messed it up. So we have a PSA 8. You can see quite a few scratches on it, actually. Lots of scratches. I would think the back would probably look decent to make up for it, and it does. It's probably a PSA 9 back and a PSA 7 surface, which kind of rounds to a PSA 8. And here we have, oh wow, so this is definitely one that I'm going to keep. A PSA 10 Umbreon from Neo Discovery. So it's not first edition. It's kind of hard to tell because the first edition stamp is black on a black background, but nonetheless, this is the Unlimited Edition PSA 10. Anything PSA 10 in WotC, because you know it's 20 years old, is a success for, you know, in my opinion. So this is definitely one that I would keep, especially being an evolution. How everybody goes nuts over evolutions lately. Very nice card. Did I even show you the back of it? Trucking along and I forgot to show you the back, but yeah, the back looks flawless practically. Tiny white showing there, but not enough to give it a 9, luckily. And here we have a PSA 8 Yanma holographics. This one's actually one of those cards. It's not a popular Pokemon. Sorry to you Yanma lovers, but this is actually, you can see scratches. One of those Pokemon cards that is actually super expensive in a 10, believe it or not. And here we have, okay, so this one is a PSA 2 Ursaring from Neo Discovery. It's a holographic and first edition. This is a card that I had in my personal collection from when I was a kid. And, you know, obviously it had the creases, so I knew it wasn't going to do good, but it's one of those cards that 5 years ago it was not worth getting graded and selling for 20 bucks, but now this card would probably be 50 bucks, so that is now worth grading. And that is why one of the reasons that we are in this mess with PSA closing down, because values went up and everything's worth getting graded now. All right, so now we have a PSA 9 Unknown A from Neo Discovery. This is a holographic card. It's got a couple scratches, nothing too major. On the holo, the back looks good. A couple white spots here and here and here. Not really up here, a tiny one, but very nice card. Did this one have a swirl on it? Yeah, it did, right there. By his, I don't know what you'd call that, but on his body right there, there is a swirl. And here we have another one. This is his twins. We got a swirl almost in the same spot. It's kind of funny. But yeah, this one likewise has a couple scratches here and there. The white spots, ooh, instead of being in the corners like the other one, this one's got them in the top center and not really on the corners. This one's got quite a bit of white. I would think this one would get an 8, but or an 8.5, but they were generous and gave me a 9 with that one. Okay, I'll take it. So we have 2 cards left. Here we have a PSA 7 holographic Polyrath from Neo Discovery. So it's always weird for me to see Polyrath in a fighting type because I'm used to seeing them, you know, base set, the blue, the water type. So it's always funny for me to see Pokemon that are not the right energy type. But this one's got lots of scratches, as you can see. It's kind of hard to see actually because of the dark hollow, but you can really see them over here. Okay, now you can see them at that angle over here and a bunch down here. So that would earn you a PSA 7. Lots of white spots on the back. Some fuzz. And the last card for today is a PSA 7 Houndoom from Neo Discovery. This is a holographic card. It's got a nice swirl down there by his paw. And lots of scratches. That is what a PSA 7 will get you, unless you're Nidoking or Ninetales in the Japanese set. Then you'll get a PSA 7 for something else. But all right, guys, that is the last card of today's video. Question of the day: what was your favorite card? I think you can see every card. Let me see if I can scan or pan over for you. But let me know in the comments what was your favorite card. And thanks for watching, guys.